Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do what I read in April, a little reading wrap up for you guys. So I actually read a lot this month and I did vlog a lot of it, so go check out those if they're up. One of them is, I think the other one's gonna come out after this. I read some amazing books. I gave out 5 stars, which I don't do very often, so I'm pretty happy with what I read. We're gonna start with the physical copies first. My most anticipated read, Funny Story by Emily Henry. And I will say, I had very high expectations for this. I love Emily Henry. I think all of her books are really good. The premise of it sounded cute and different, so I was really looking forward to this, and it did not disappoint. This might be my favorite Emily Henry book. I gave it 5 stars. I loved Miles. I thought he was the cutest, the cutest love interest. He was so sweet. I really enjoyed the female main character. I like that she was a librarian. I love how Emily Henry weaves books and book lovers into all of her books. I think it's so cool. I liked their story arc, their little romance. I thought it was really sweet, and I wasn't ever tired of reading. I got through this so quickly. You just want to keep reading. You want to figure out what happens. And I love the setting. I love a small little lake town in the Midwest. Very cute and made me want to move there. I loved the ensemble of the cast too, all the townspeople. I loved Ashley. I thought she was so fun. I hated the exes. They were so annoying. And usually I'm not a big fan of a countdown romance, by this day, it's gonna be over. And that's not a spoiler because it literally, the chapter started off blah, blah, blah days until I leave. Or until I can leave. But I didn't feel oh, this is so annoying, we know it's gonna end, that type of thing. So I still enjoyed it outside of that. But yeah, 5 stars, would 100% recommend. If you haven't read any Emily Henry, I would start with this. But maybe you're gonna be disappointed by the other ones in comparison to this, but you're gonna love this. Next, I was in a little fantasy kick. So I read Once Upon a Broken Heart and then the sequel and then the 3rd book as well. I loved this series. I thought it was so cute. I won't spend too much time talking about it because I did vlog myself reading the entire series. But I'd heard of this and I'd heard of Caraval, and they were on my TBR for so long. It's sometimes hard for me to get into a romance series, but this did not disappoint. I enjoyed it so, so, so much. It's very fun storytelling. If you love grim fairy tales, that type of vibe, I think you'll really enjoy this. It honestly, I used to read this series called The Grimm Sisters growing up, and I haven't read it in so long, so I don't even remember the plot, but I feel this gives similar vibes because it's the world, the history of the world are all these myths and fairy tales, but they're twisted throughout time, so you don't really know the truth behind them, but we slowly get to figure out the lore behind all of these tales and stuff, which I think is just so fun. And then I really like the romance, enemies to lovers, you can't trust him, you think he hates you, but you don't know, you're she's attracted to him. So good. Would recommend this, and then the sequel and the 3rd book as well. I think I gave them all 4 stars. Next, we have one that unfortunately I don't have as many good things to say about. I was very excited for this, especially because I think she wrote The Proposal. I don't know if it's what the movie's based off of, but if it is, I love that movie, and I thought I was really gonna like this. I liked the premise of it. They get stuck in an elevator together, and then he invites her to be his wedding date for the wedding of his ex and his best friend. There's good representation in this. She's a woman of color, and she's also curvier. It's just to me, having representation means that you don't have to talk about it, it's just there. And to me, she spent so much of the book talking about how insecure she was with her body, and I'm just can we have curvy people in books who aren't deeply insecure, and that's not their entire personality trait is, oh, how could anyone like me, I'm so fat, I don't look like his skinny ex-girlfriends, blah 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 blah. Just have it, and just have her be you have so many confident female main characters who are skinny, just have her be as well. And then also I usually spice in my books, but I can read plenty of books without it. It's not a necessity for me, but this annoyed me so much because it was just a tease. They talked about it constantly. They would literally do the lead up to it. You think you're gonna get a spice scene, no, closed door. I'm like, either be a closed door romance and don't even talk about sex, or show it, you know, like you can't have them both. And so that really bothered me. And then like honestly, it was just like mediocre. Like I was not obsessed. I didn't want to pick it up. I was like kind of like, I took a while to read this one. And then the main guy is a commitment phobe, which I only appreciate that when it's the woman. If a guy is scared of commitment, that's just real life. Where's the fantasy fun romance in that? That was annoying to me. So yeah, I think I give this 3 stars, maybe 2.5. I did not enjoy my reading experience very much. Next, we had another highly anticipated read, Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Like I said, in my favorites, she's one of my favorite authors. I love like everything she writes, and this did not disappoint. This was so cute. It was also covered some like deeper topics. Like they both have like some pretty intense mommy issues, but like in different ways. So it's kind of cute how they like have such different ways of dealing with it, and they kind of help each other find healthier ways of dealing with that. So I liked that. I like originally thought this was kind of gonna be like Good Luck Chuck, because they both have this thing where the person they date like after them finds the love of their life and gets married. But that was like such like a small part of the book, honestly. She's like a traveling nurse, doesn't stay in places for like long at all. He like is obsessed with her instantly and like wants her to stay and come to, where are they even? I think this is Minneapolis. Yeah, I think this takes place in Minneapolis. And at first I like did not understand how it related to the rest of the series, because this is part of the same series. It's like Part of Your World. And those. But like as you read it, you start to see some of the same characters pop up and have like cameos, and I thought that was really fun. I'm like, oh, I remember that. I remember this. So that was really cute. It's like not heavy on the actual like romance and smut. Like it's more of just like their characters like and like, you know, helping each other grow type thing. I just love them, and I think I give this like 4.5 stars. Next, we have Fangirl Down, which I loved. I love Tessa Bailey. I've talked about her a lot. I think she's one of my favorite romance authors. She's so fun. I'm like not a big golf girl, so I like didn't think that this was gonna be up my alley. Like I usually like a hockey romance, like that type of thing, but this was fun. It did have me looking up some golf terms that I was very unfamiliar with, but I still like enjoy, like I love that he's like a grumpy older guy and she's like super cheerful and his biggest fan and like helping him through this tournament, and he just like slowly becomes obsessed with her. Great smut. It's just, Tessa Bailey doesn't miss. I think I give this 4 stars. I very much enjoyed this. Maybe 4.5, honestly. Okay, next we have Heartless. I can't believe I hadn't read this. I'd read, I think 2 or 3 others from the Chestnut Springs series, but I hadn't read Heartless yet, and I know it's most people's favorite. So I was very much looking forward to it, and it did not disappoint. I think I give this 4, maybe 4.5 stars. I love a single dad trope, and I love the way they wrote the kid too. Like he was so cute, and I really enjoyed Willa as a female main character. She was just so fun. The two of them, like their chemistry was just insane, and the tension between the two of them from like the very first chapter. I really enjoyed this, and I do think it's definitely my favorite in the Chestnut Springs series. Like it was just so cute. Next we have When in Rome, and I wanted to love this. I've seen this everywhere, and I literally bought the sequel. I think it's Practice Makes Perfect, because the cover was so cute, and because you see like all those little lists on TikTok and YouTube, and everyone says When in Rome, Practice Makes Perfect, like top 10, whatever. I thought it was gonna be really good, and I was just like very disappointed. Again, I love a small town romance, and I love that it's like loosely based or like inspired by like the Audrey Hepburn movie The Roman Holiday, and I thought that was like a cute underlying like theme in the book, but it was just such a slow burn, and it's one of those that has a like expiration date, and I hate that. Like, you know, she's gonna leave, and so the entire time like they don't want to get together because she's gonna leave. It's like either get together in spite of that, or like don't write the book. Like, I don't know what, it's just like, it was so annoying. I feel like I was like 80% of the way through the book. I'm like, have they even kissed yet? Like, it is that kind of slow burn. And like, they did have good chemistry, and I do love a small town, and the town was cute, and I loved his sisters. They were great characters in it. But I just like wasn't like excited to pick it up because I'm like, it's just another like long tension-filled chapter while they're trying not to like each other, even though they clearly do, and they're trying to like set all these boundaries, even though what's the point, you're gonna end up together in the end anyway. So that was, yeah, that was kind of disappointing for me. I think I gave it like 3 stars. I'm hoping the sequel's better, and I met the, you meet the sister who I think the next book is based off of it in this, and she's really sweet. So I'm hopeful the next book will live up to the hype, but this one personally for me did not. Next, we have Riley Thorne and the Dead Guy Next Door. Lucy Score. I love Lucy Score. I didn't realize like this is like a whole series and it's been out for a while and I'd like never seen it. But it's honestly more of like a thriller type, which I didn't know she wrote those kind of books. So it was like really fun for me. Or like thriller, mystery. She's a psychic and she like predicts that her next door neighbor is going to die, and so then the guy is a private investigator who's been hired to figure out what happened, so the two of them like kind of work together, and it's just like very cute. It's honestly like not super heavy on romance. I think there's maybe like one smut scene, if that, which for Lucy Score is like not very common. Like I feel like she usually includes more of it, but I still thought the book was really fun, and I kind of want to read the next part of the series because I just love like the cast, because she Riley Thorne lives in basically an old folks home, like an old mansion, and all of the rooms are filled up with older people, so it's just like so fun and silly because of that, like the ensemble cast, and because she's like a psychic, her family's like very hippie, like super interesting characters, and then he's like kind of the exact opposite of her, and she's like trying to come to terms with her being a psychic, and actually she's always like tried to avoid this kind of stuff, but I just thought it was so fun. I enjoyed like the tension between the two of them. I thought they were super cute together, and I enjoyed like, I wanted to figure out what happened with like the mystery portion of it too. So I think I give this like 4 stars. Next we had Wild Love by Elsie Silver. This was another anticipated read for me. As I said, I love the Chestnut Springs series. I was super excited. I saw again this was gonna be like single dad trope and like best friend sister as well. I thought it was gonna be like similar to Heartless, and I had just read Heartless, so I was like super excited for this. But it was all right. Like it wasn't my favorite, and it wasn't my least favorite. It like just like took a while to like get into their romance, kind of like I was like 40% of the way through, and I'm like just like not super invested in them getting together. But like towards the end you start to get more invested in it, and they do have like a good chemistry. I didn't love it. I really enjoyed the daughter character. I thought she was so cute. I really like the way Elsie Silver writes kids. I think she does a really good job. I could tell the story they're building, and it's fun, and he's a billionaire, so always love that. But yeah, again, just not one of my favorites. I think this is like a 3.5 star read. Okay, and I think that's everything I read in April. Thank you guys for watching, and I will be back soon with another video.